Got the notification. We are good. Awesome. We are live. We are live. Test. Carissa, how's everything on your end?
Test.
I think we're good. Yep. Awesome. We are live. We are live. Test. Carissa, how's everything on your end?
Test.
Yep. Oh, it sounds good. Awesome. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Empowered Entrepreneurs. Today, Carissa and I are going to be talking about how to get new customers and get new subscribers. Last week, we talked about how to retain your subscribers and customers. And we shared a little bit about our experiences doing that. But because I'm kind of in the thick of trying to market my new online course, Zero to YouTube Hero, we figured, well, I asked Carissa, I was like, hey, we should talk about how to get new customers because I'm really curious as to her experience with, when all of her businesses were just like no one knew about them, and then how to get the word out there about your business and how to get like the right customers to walk in through the doors or go to your website or do whatever call to action, that you have. And in my case is to sign up for the mailing list for Zero to YouTube Hero. So thanks for tuning in. Timothy Wong. Hi, gals. How you doing? Carissa, you want to give everyone a little update? If you guys were here last week, you'll know that she's kind of in the thick of moving locations for her restaurant. So how's it all going?
Well, it's fine.
It's going.
It's not working out the way that I wanted, but it's just.
Does it ever though?
Yeah, exactly. You just have to roll with it, and basically, I'll just give you the short story of it. Since we are a restaurant, there's steps that we have to take before we can open, and we had an appointment penciled in with the Department of Health for them to come and check out the space just to make sure it's according to our architectural plans and everything. And he never showed up, and it was really disappointing. But as frustrated as I was, the fact of the matter is, it is what it is. And as prepared as I can be when it comes to whether it's business to business relationships or business to customer, it's a two-way street. So you can only do what you can, and it's all up to the other person. Those things are just out of your hands. There's nothing you can really do. Sorry.
Oh, my dogs are your dogs. Okay, wait, can you hear me? Did you mute yourself?
I did, yeah.
Okay, let's see. So Tom and I plan to stop by the new restaurant ASAP. We'll probably be there in February. So
awesome. Just to let you know, we are going to be gone one weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're going to Hawaii, which is stressing me out, to be honest with you. It was supposed to be a family vacation. We really don't want to. We really don't want to cancel. But yeah, we're going to be gone the weekend of the 17th and 18th.
Okay. Oh, that's perfect, because we have a wedding that weekend. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. So you'll go that weekend.
Yeah. So I guess, you touched a little bit about it, but what are your tips for someone who just is like starting from zero, whether it's a business that's online or brick and mortar, or even, as I'm like promoting Zero to YouTube Hero, not only for my own mailing list, but for people who are looking to start YouTube channels from 0 subscribers? What would be like your top tips on how to get your name out there?
Well, one of the things is you want to think it through. really want to figure out what your strategy is, and you want to hit benchmarks. You want to hit, like, whether it's small goals. Small goals are better than big goals, in my opinion, because it's more attainable, it's more realistic, and it gets you to kind of hone in and focus. But you want to have a general plan. You don't have to be that specific, but you've got to just think about what you want to accomplish, which means what are your goals? What are your benchmarks? It all means the same thing. What is it that you want to accomplish? And then you can kind of, I think that has worked really well for me. But I think at the same time, you also have to realize you kind of just have to jump in. You can't be scared and just keep planning and planning and planning and do nothing, because planning will get you nowhere if you don't take action. And customers need to see you. Customers need to, and that is your job. Whether you hire someone to do it or you're doing your marketing yourself, you have to tell people about it. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are out there and that are like, oh, I'm so shy. Like, I don't want to tell people about what I'm doing because I don't want them to think I'm selling them something. But honestly, that are your friends or family that are in your target market, they want to know, because one, they're in your target market. If they care about you enough, they'll try you out at least once. So if you're just starting out, you've just got to figure out your strategy. So for example, mine is I'm focusing on Instagram, for example, because I know that's where my target market is. So if I start a profile today with 0 followers, thinking about, for the month of February, what should I post? And even if I don't follow the plan to a T, you have an ideal strategy of what you want to do and how you want to start marketing yourself. Social media route, because it's the new marketing. Then you want to start thinking about, how can I create conversations with people on your social media platform, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You want to create conversations. You want to start commenting, asking you questions, whatever it is. So for me, I have multiple businesses, so I'll use food as an example. It's such an easy thing for me to post product. Hashtag food porn. It's just everywhere. You know what I mean? People either love or hate when they see food on their Instagram feed.
True.
But people do it no matter what, so it's easy for a restaurant. But I'll give you my greeting cards as another example. I also sell greeting cards online, and greeting cards aren't something that everybody uses or everybody buys. And so my focus is the message behind those cards. So if it's really funny, if it's really quippy, my focus in my description, or if it's if it has sentimental value, then I'll talk about if it was influenced or inspired by my family or my mom or whatever it is. People want to know why you're doing what you're doing. So you want to create conversation. And then my third suggestion is consistency. You can't just and then drop off the face of the earth and expect there to still be activity. It'd be great if that was the case, but when you're new and starting out, you want to be consistent. Even if that means every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, or whatever you're posting, make sure it's not just spammy, but it's actual consistent, valuable content that you're putting out there, and you're doing it intentionally.
I like that. Doing it intentionally. That's I think that's key, because sometimes you can get caught up in like doing things for the sake of doing things, but just making sure that, you know, you are setting goals. There's a lot of things I liked about what you said. Like, especially if you're starting from zero, you don't really know what works, because what works for someone else won't necessarily work for you and your subscribers or your customers and your business and your story. So, you know, as long as you have a goal and then you have options to like meet that goal, then just try everything, you know, like try, like throw things at the wall and see what sticks. I really like how you said create conversations, because I think in a world that is so saturated with information and content that's like being thrown at us 24/7, I think it's really hard for especially digital content creators to remember that it's not about you. It's about the viewer, even though it's your story that is connecting the two of you. So anytime that you can create conversations, that is what gets people to stick around. And a great way to create a conversation from nothing is to provide value. So like Carissa said, she's a restaurant. People who are hungry will like to see food. So posting pictures of food is providing value to someone who's like, oh, I don't know where to eat and I'm starving. And that, you know, that's something that I have yet to incorporate into my own strategy for Zero to YouTube Hero, because I've been focusing a lot on like just even announcing that it was a thing, letting my network know, really just focusing on like my network and not really branching out and reaching out to new people yet. The people who don't know me, you know, they just literally don't know me. They don't know that they don't know who I am. They don't know that I have this product that could potentially help them. And so for me to create those conversations with those people, I need to provide value to them. I have to find them and then provide value to them. And then hopefully they take the next step from there. And there's like different ways that I plan to try that. But yeah.
I'm going off of what you said about providing value and not being able to, you know, you're trying to attract a certain customer, right? So kind of talked about this before and you had mentioned it, but you know, that goes, providing value isn't necessarily just coupon codes or discounts or just pictures of food. Making your audience feel like they get a special insight into something is one thing, but also like we talked about last week, I go on Instagram. Like if we're talking about Instagram, the reason I go on Instagram is for inspiration. So if who you're trying to attract, start a YouTube channel, I think the best way to add value is to not just share what you just Zero to YouTube Hero, but also what you always do, which is your struggle with showing the behind the scenes of you making Zero to YouTube Hero, and then throwing in a few coupon codes if you want to, discount codes here and there, or early bird registrations or whatever it is. But also inspirational entrepreneurial quotes that, you know, that are valid. You don't want the, and I think your brother does this really well with Hunter, is he shows the lifestyle with what you're about. And I think that's the best way new customers. You want them to see what their weird clothing they like to do in their spare time. And so you want to identify your customer and then think about, in such a broad spectrum, what they like to do, and you want to post about it, post about your product, because it just starts to feel not scammy, but spammy. It just feels like spam when all you see on the feed is product after product after product, you know? And so I think it's important to add value in that way, so that it feels more organic. It feels more natural. And you have everyone has their own strategy of how they do it. Ninongs, for example, does all of our Instagram posts with finished product. Instagram story will show you the restaurant during open hours, the process of baking a cake, the people cooking on the cook line. We'll show you all that stuff through our Instagram stories. Some people do it straight onto their feed and they want to post. So it just depends on what you like, but finding a way to do that works for you is really important.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that's a strategy that I plan to use on Instagram. I'm going to do a whole video on it, but I just don't feel like, I think I share my story really well, but then that's it. And that's really good for people who know me already. But that doesn't really open up the conversation to anyone new, which is why I want to start like doing the quotes, posting the tips. I really like how you said lifestyle. Because then if there's a way, like I could keep posting the way that I'm posting, but if there's a way to kind of frame it like, this is my lifestyle because I have a YouTube channel, then it's different. It's not just like, you already know me, so I don't have to explain certain things. I don't know. I think sometimes definitely. Less is more, and I do a lot of more. Like they're almost like blog posts for me a lot of the times. But I think like if I'm gonna post more often, use different hashtags, and really just kind of like be more out there, then like it's the consistency and intention, like you said. Mm-hmm. And then Timothy Wong said, while I do rideshare all day, I definitely market myself and network. That's so true. I know for me, and then also shout out to the Enthusiasm Project, who is here during his prep period. And he said, sorry, Carissa, for your frustrations. But for me in the beginning, when I was building up my YouTube channel, definitely just networking in person was probably like, aside from just like creating videos, was probably the thing that really helped the most. I went to a bunch of networking events, mostly entrepreneur related. And it was just so easy. It was so easy for me to stand out in a whole room of like 35 other people just to tell them that I was starting a YouTube channel, because no one else was. Like everyone else was an accountant. Everyone else was a realtor or whatever. And like everyone just was, like no one else had a YouTube channel. So it just was like the idea of, oh yeah, I'm documenting my journey and building a business. Everyone else there are business people. It was so easy. As soon as I went home, you could just see the subscribers come in of everyone I had met. And then, going to WeWork, it's a building full of entrepreneurs. That really helped. So, social media is definitely word of mouth, but if there are groups in your community that you can capitalize on, even if it's like not related, you might not think it's related, but just like check out Meetup, check out, I don't know, community centers or chambers of commerce in your community and see if they've got any events that you can just go to and print out a bunch of business cards. Like that's what Jermaine and I did. We both, like I printed out, I don't know, like 500 business cards I think I printed out 1,000 for VidCon. And then like Jermaine and I we went down 2nd Street and just passed out our business cards to every single person. And it works. So yeah.
I need to be better about doing in-person networking. I'm so bad at it. It's not that I don't like to talk to people, but I don't. And I want to. I always say that I should and I will, but I never get involved and I never attend networking events and all that stuff. I need to be better at that it's beneficial. Especially when you realize, okay, if there's a room of like 50 people, even if you can capture one person and make a good connection with that person and build a relationship, it's going to be so beneficial.
And it's so much easier than doing it online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like to get to the relationship that you can build with someone in person online, it takes forever. It takes so long to cultivate that versus like just the handshake in person right there. You're like, friendship level 2. Like just to get that in like with someone you don't ever see face to face, it's hard. It takes a lot of content and consistency and intention to convert those people. So I definitely, obviously I'm all digital, but I definitely believe in networking in person for sure.
Yeah. Another suggestion I have is, especially if you sell product of some kind, is
what?
Craft shows, pop-up shops.
Oh.
So I've even seen pop-up shops where bloggers and content creators and stuff go to cover events because it's great advertising for those types of events. Great way to meet other entrepreneurs, which is, I guess, kind of how I network, I guess, because I meet a bunch of people when I do things like that. And it's a great way to just put a little bit of investment in and be able to sell product, but also meet other entrepreneurs that are usually on the same level as you because you're attending the same event. You're trying to sell a certain type of product so you guys can relate. Even if someone sells jewelry and I sell greeting cards, we can still relate. We can still talk and we can still create a relationship with each other. And it's just a great way to build community because you guys are going through the same things,
Yeah. And it's weird. I don't think that people, like, if you go to one of those things and your goal is just like to sell, and you have a number that you want to meet, it's hard to translate the time and energy that you put into like meeting other people into like not a sale, because obviously these people are not necessarily going to buy your product. But honestly, like for me, the benefit that I've gotten from every single person that I've met is like priceless. Like you never know. There's so many people where it's like I've met them and then they knew someone else that eventually ended up becoming a client, that became, very active subscribers of my channel, that promoted me, and I didn't even realize that they cared. It's like you just never know how those relationships are going to pay off. So it's totally 100% worth it.
And that being said, I think it's also just, in general, speaking of pop-up shops and networking and social media, it's just about talking to people. Going back to what I said, there are so many entrepreneurs out there that I talk to and I'm like, this is a great idea. Like, how come you're not doing this yet? And they're like, well, I'm people and I don't want to bother them with what I'm doing and I don't want them to feel like I'm selling them hard on something. And there are some people that are really good at sales and that are really good at hard selling something, but I am not one of those people. And my attitude is always like, oh, if they ask, I'll tell them. And if they're into it and they ask more questions, then I'll go on and on and on. But if they don't show any interest, I'm not going to hard sell someone. I'm not going to try and convince someone that they need what I have to sell. But you have to let people know what you do. That's the way to start getting the ball rolling.
Yeah. And I know for me, because this was hard. Like this was hard for me to own being a YouTuber, just because I felt so many things. Like I didn't think anyone would take me seriously. I didn't even think I was legit because I don't have that many subscribers. But I can tell you, like, when I was feeling hesitant, like even last December, over a year ago, Carissa, I didn't even have like 100,000 views. I don't think, I don't know how many subscribers I had, probably less than 2,000. It had to have been like 1,000, but nothing has changed for me since then, in terms of like being able to claim being a YouTuber. Like nothing's changed, it's all the same. People react exactly the same, and the reason why I bring that up is because if you are kind of like hesitant or shy and you feel that talking about yourself is really like salesy, that is something I would have told myself to do differently, is just be like, dude, you are wasting so much time with this like reluctance and hesitation because no one is thinking that you're salesy at all. Like it's not even in their head, you know? And especially if someone else, like everyone has a story to share and you're the one who's like scared to share it. It's like, well, then it's not going to be heard, you know? So like my advice is, even if you have 50 subscribers, 100 subscribers, or you're just starting out, I will tell you right now, there's no difference between when I was at 50, 500 to 5,000 now. It's the same, like nothing's changed. So just own it, just say it loud, say it proud. And there's nothing shady about it. Like you shouldn't be embarrassed about it. That's why you're doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same problem. Why? I just didn't want to be pegged as like, oh, you do this or you do that. Or when Ninongs was first starting out, I remember my mom would be very humble, but to a point where it was damaging, almost as if she was like hating on her own business. And it's just because she just is like that. She doesn't want to be salesy. She doesn't want to be pushy, but people don't care about that. You know, if they ask, oh, so what do you do? And you say, oh, I own a restaurant. What is it? What do you sell? It's to create conversation. And then she would kind of dumb down her business and just say, oh, you know, it's Filipino, but we haven't been around that long. We're still very, very new, and we don't know what we want to do yet. And then that's when people are like, I don't care, you know, like all they wanted to hear was, oh, it's a Filipino restaurant. We sell breakfast and baked goods, and we started last year. And then most people are like, awesome, that's great. Good luck to you. I hope you do well. Like no one cares that you just started. Oh, they really don't.
If anything, I have found that most human beings root for the underdog. Like that's just how it is. I think it's a human nature. And so if anything, like I'm kind of sad that I can't say anymore that I just quit my job to start doing this, because it really, you know, there was something about me saying that kind of sparked this excitement in the people I was talking to, but I just was too scared. I was too scared to own up to it. So, you know, that's what I'm telling you guys. Don't, you know, I don't, like Carissa said, there are some people who are just really good at sales, but then there's other people who are probably more shy, or I don't know, are just not good at sales. But you're just wasting time. Like you only have so much time. And if you know, could just cut to the thing, like get your story down. What is your, you know, YouTube channel about? What is your business? What is your mission? What are you selling? And just, you know, keep your hesitations to yourself and just sell and put yourself out there. You'll get there faster for sure.
Yeah. And even if you don't think about it as sales, you know, you have to think about when you talk to a person and you're just meeting them for the first time and you say, oh, so what do you do? What are you expecting back? You're basically expecting a 1 to 2 sentence description. So you have to start practicing. If you're shy and you're not good at it, start practicing. Even if it's stupid and you're looking in the mirror, but you have to have something ready, you know, something that's natural and conversational for you. Something that's so scripted that it just seems fake and awkward for you, but you got to be ready for when people ask, oh, so what do you do? Because that's after they ask for your name, be the next answer if you're meeting someone for the first time, because it's the easiest way to start a conversation with someone. And so it's not unnatural. It's not salesy, especially if they ask you. That means they have a general interest of what you're about. And so if you're about entrepreneur life, YouTube, selling product, whatever it is, be proud of it, you know? Like if you make t-shirts, just be like, hi, I'm Kissa. I own this company. I started it so-and-so, and I make t-shirts.
I think what it is like But at least for me, it's like I was comparing myself to where I wanted to be. And because I wasn't there, I just was kind of, I felt like I wasn't good enough to say I was what I was. And that is like all of that might be legitimate. I'm not going to like discredit my own feelings, but no one else is thinking about it. No one knows like what your goals are. It's so irrelevant in someone's mind that is just meeting you for the first time. So there's no point, like even if you have 50 subscribers, own the fact that you're a YouTuber, because chances are, especially if you're meeting someone in person, they are not on YouTube. Like, you'd be surprised. The US is not the most popular country on YouTube. You know, there's still a lot of people, for sure. Like, I would say 90% of the people that I've met on in person do not watch YouTube every day. And you know, I'm in the US, I'm in SoCal. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. They don't go on YouTube. I don't even go on YouTube every day. So, I mean, all of those people were new subscribers.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, coming from my first business was a wedding planning business, and intimidation was real in that business. Not gonna lie,
Dude, I can't even imagine, man.
Yeah, I met a bunch of other wedding planners, to the nice wedding planners out there, but it was cutthroat. And I was probably one of the
Wait, you froze.
man.
You froze.
Let's do.
Hello?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, you said you were one of the something.
Probably the youngest wedding planner that I had ever, no one younger than me, that's for sure. And so intimidating because the majority of wedding planners were older than me. They sounded more experienced. I was really, really scared. And I was just like, you know, I mean, I'm here. I'm at this networking event. There's other wedding planners here that I know that I've seen on the internet, and I am so scared, but what can I do? This is who I am. And I was very like taken aback, I guess. And I was very ashamed of that. But now that I look back, I shouldn't have been, because I look back at my wedding planning career and I was like, man, how young and green I thought I was. Me. And there were people getting married that were kind of my age, maybe a little bit older, but they needed a wedding planner too. And they felt that they could relate to me because I was closer in age than those other wedding planners were. And those were the ones that hired me. And turns out there was a market for it, but I wasn't realizing it at the moment. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh, okay, I should have been more proud. I should have been more like bold about it. Like, I don't know why I was so afraid. So if you're out there and you're like, oh, I'm intimidated by, I don't know, my competition or my customer base, I know it's easier said than done, but don't be, because all you have to do is tell them that you're there and they will start flocking to you. You just need the patience and consistency and it'll come.
Yeah. And it's so funny that we're both thinking the same thing. It's just, it causes so much unnecessary anxiety. There's just no point in it. But anyway, okay, so those are my tips. I'm going to come out with another video about like exactly how I'm going to apply these tips to Zero to YouTube Hero. But if you're starting a business and you're looking to try to gain new customers and get yourself out there and promote, you know, Carissa has a brick and mortar and online businesses. And obviously I have a YouTube channel, but both of us are huge proponents of social media, but we definitely don't discount networking in person. So there's a million things that you can try, but you know, really owning up to your story and being proud of it, it saves you a lot of time if you're not. So just, you know, own wherever you are, even if you're at the beginning, just own it and share your story. So with that said, I think we can end it unless you have anything else, Carissa.
No.
Cool. Okay. So we're going to meet again next week, Monday, 11 a.m. If you guys have any requests for topics that you'd like for us to talk about, tweet us. All our social handles are in the description underneath this video. So, Carissa, thanks for joining.
Yeah, always a lot of fun.
All right. I will talk to you guys later. Give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you later. Bye.